The door to the bathroom creaked open, and steam billowed out like a ghost escaping a grave. Matthew stepped into the hallway, towel slung low around his hips, his broad shoulders glistening under the harsh fluorescent light of our cramped Brooklyn walk-up. "Joseph," he said, his voice cracking like thunder in a summer storm. "I can't pretend anymore. I'm gay. And it's you I've been dreaming about every goddamn night." I dropped the beer bottle in my hand, glass shattering against the worn hardwood floor, shards scattering like my racing thoughts. My heart hammered against my ribs as if it were trying to punch its way out. Because Matthew, straight as an arrow Matthew, the guy who dated cheerleaders in high school and cracked jokes about no homo during our late-night gaming sessions, was staring at me with eyes that burned hotter than the shower he just left. We'd been roommates for 2 years, ever since we both washed up in this city chasing ghosts of ambition. Me, a barista/aspiring screenwriter from the Rust Belt suburbs of Pittsburgh. Him, a finance bro from the manicured lawns of Connecticut, all Ivy League polish and hidden cracks. Our place was a shoebox on the 3rd floor of a brownstone in Williamsburg. Exposed brick, leaky faucets, and a fire escape that doubled as our smoking porch. It smelled like takeout Thai and unfulfilled dreams, the kind of scent that clings to your skin like regret. I'd known I was gay since I was 15, fumbling through crushes on the soccer team captain while my evangelical parents prayed it away. But Matthew? He was the poster boy for straight privilege, ex-girlfriend stories over whiskey, Tinder swipes that never stopped, and that easy grin that made every girl at the bar blush. That night, as the broken glass crunched under my sneakers, I couldn't move. "What the hell, Matt?" I finally choked out, my voice barely above a whisper. He stepped closer, the towel slipping just an inch, revealing the V of his hips that I'd stolen glances at more times than I cared to admit. Close. He smelled like Irish spring and vulnerability, his chest rising and falling like he'd run a marathon. "I didn't plan this," he said, running a hand through his damp chestnut hair, droplets tracing paths down his neck. "God, Joseph, I've been fighting it since the day we moved in. Remember that time we got blackout drunk after the Knicks game? You passed out on the couch, shirt half off, and I just watched you. Wanted to touch you. But I couldn't. I'm supposed to be the normal one, right? The guy who marries some girl from back home, pops out 2.5 kids, and golfs on weekends." I laughed, a bitter, jagged sound that echoed off the peeling wallpaper. Normal. As if any of us were. My own closet had doors bolted shut by family dinners where Dad quoted Leviticus and Mom slipped me "Pray the Gay Away" pamphlets. I'd come to New York to breathe, to script stories where love didn't end in exile. And now this, my roommate, my best friend, dropping a bomb that could level everything. "Sit down," I said, gesturing to the sagging couch we'd salvaged from Craigslist. He did, the towel bunching awkwardly, and I grabbed a broom to sweep up the mess, buying time to steady my pulse. When I sat beside him, our knees brushed, and electricity shot through me like a live wire. "Talk to me." "All of it." He did. Words tumbled out in a rush. The confusion starting in college. Hookups with guys in frat house bathrooms that he buried under layers of denial. The way my laugh made his stomach flip during our morning coffee rituals. How he'd scroll through Grindr incognito, heart pounding, then delete the app in shame. "I thought it was a phase," he admitted, eyes fixed on the floor. "But it's you, Joe. It's always been you." I reached out, tentative, my fingers grazing his arm. His skin was fever hot, and he leaned into it, a soft exhale escaping his lips. That was our first touch, Not fireworks, but a slow-burning fuse. We didn't kiss that night. The weight was too heavy. Instead, we talked until the city lights bled into dawn, forging something fragile and real from the ruins of what we'd assumed our friendship was. The next week blurred into a haze of stolen moments. Mornings, I'd wake to find him in the kitchen, shirtless and humming off-key to Springsteen, pouring me coffee with a shy smile that said everything words couldn't. We'd linger at the counter, shoulders touching, conversations dipping into dangerous waters, favorite drag shows we'd never admitted seeing, the ache of hiding from family. One evening, after a brutal shift at the coffee shop where a customer called me a faggot under his breath for smiling too long at a cute regular, I came home to find Matthew waiting with pizza and a six-pack. His tie loosened like an invitation. "You okay?" he asked, pulling me into a hug that lasted too long to be platonic. His heartbeat synced with mine, steady and sure. "Better now," I murmured, my cheek against his collarbone. We ate on the floor, cross-legged like kids, trading stories of small-town cruelties. He confessed his father's expectations, a merger at the family firm, a debutante wife lined up like a stock pick. "He'd disown me," Matt said quietly, popping open another beer. "Call it a weakness." I set my slice down, pizza grease forgotten. "Love's not a weakness, idiot. It's the only thing that makes this shit show worth it." Our eyes locked, and the air thickened. He leaned in first, tentative, his lips brushing mine like a question. I answered with yes, pulling him closer, tasting salt and longing. The kiss deepened, hands roaming, his in my hair, mine tracing the ridges of his back, until we broke apart, breathless, foreheads pressed together. "Joe," he whispered, "this scares the hell out of me." "Me too," I admitted. But fear didn't stop us. That night, we crossed the line we'd tiptoed around for years. His body was a map I'd memorized in secret, the freckles on his shoulders from Connecticut summers, the scar on his knee from a skateboarding wipeout. We moved slow, reverent, learning each other in the dim glow of streetlights filtering through the blinds. Afterward, tangled in sheets that smelled like us, he traced patterns on my chest and said, "I love you." Simple words, but they anchored me in a sea of doubt. Fall deepened in Brooklyn, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle promises. We built a rhythm. Secret dates at hole-in-the-wall diners in the village, where we'd hold hands under the table. Lazy Sundays binging old rom-coms, mocking the heteronormative tropes while stealing kisses during the credits. Matthew started therapy on the sly, a queer-affirming counselor in Midtown who helped him unpack the baggage. "I'm bisexual," he told me one night, the word tasting foreign on his tongue. "Or pan, or whatever. Point is, labels don't matter when it's you." I believed him. God, how I believed him. We talked futures, maybe a bigger place in Queens, road trips down Route 66, introducing each other to families when the time was right. Humanistic threads wove through our days. Volunteering at a local LGBTQ center, where Matt's charm drew in scared kids fresh from the Bible Belt, mirroring his own hidden scars. "You're good at this," I told him after he counseled a teen through a coming-out panic. He shrugged, but his eyes shone with that quiet pride I'd fallen for. But cracks formed, subtle at first. His phone buzzed more with calls from Connecticut, Dad pressuring for holiday visits, subtle jabs about settling down. Matt withdrew. Nights spent scrolling job listings in Chicago, a city far from prying eyes. "Just options," he'd say, but his kisses grew frantic. like he was memorizing me before a goodbye. Then came the betrayal, sharp as shattered glass. It was mid-November, the air biting with early winter chill. I'd planned a surprise. Tickets to a Broadway revival of Angels in America, a nod to our shared love of stories that cut deep. I came home early from my shift, buzzing with excitement, only to find the apartment door ajar. Voices drifted from the bedroom, Matt's, low and urgent, followed by a woman's laugh, light and flirtatious. I froze in the hallway, heart plummeting. Peering through the crack, I saw her, Emily, his ex from college, perched on our bed in a sundress that screamed Hampton's casual. She was all golden waves and easy confidence, the kind of girl who'd never question her place in the world. Matt sat beside her, fully clothed, but his hand rested on her knee, thumb stroking absently. It's complicated, he was saying, voice strained. Joseph, he's great, but this thing between us, it's intense. Scary. What if it's just a phase? You know me, I was always the straight guy. Her laugh tinkled again, hand squeezing his. Phases pass, babe. Remember sophomore year? You were all about that sorority girl until she ghosted you. This is New York. Everyone experiments. Come home for Thanksgiving. Dad's firm has openings. We could make it work like old times. Bile rose in my throat. I backed away, silent as a shadow, slipping out to the fire escape where the cold metal bit into my palms. Betrayal wasn't the kiss I feared, though God knows what happened after I left, but the erasure. In her presence, I became this thing, a detour on his road to normalcy. Hours later, when he found me there, chain-smoking Camels I'd sworn off, his face crumpled. Joe, wait, it's not what you think. She showed up unannounced. I told her we're done. I stood, flicking the butt over the railing, watching it spiral into the alley below. You told her I'm a phase? That you're scared of intense? My voice cracked, raw as an open wound. Was any of it real, Matt? Or am I just your Brooklyn rebellion? He reached for me, but I flinched. It is real. Emily's the past. Comfort food when Dad's breathing down my neck. But you're home. Words, empty as echoes. We argued through the night, voices rising until neighbors banged on the walls. He swore loyalty, promised to cut ties, even drafted an email to his father coming out. But doubt festered, a poison seeping into every touch. I canceled the tickets, citing work, and we slept on opposite sides of the bed, the space between us a chasm wider than the East River. The climax hit like a nor'easter 2 weeks later, on the eve of Thanksgiving. Matt's phone lit up with a video call from home. His mother, beaming, announcing a family dinner with Emily as the surprise guest. He'd forgotten to block her, or maybe he hadn't. Join us. Matthew, Emily's dying to see you. I watched from the kitchen as his face drained of color, then flushed with fury. He smashed the phone against the wall, screen spiderwebbing. Fuck them. Fuck all of it. Turning to me, eyes wild, he grabbed my shirt, pulling me close. I'm done hiding, Joe. For you, for us. But rage needs an outlet. We tore into each other, not with fists, but truths. I hurled accusations of cowardice. He fired back with my own walls, how I'd never introduced him to my parents, fearing their rejection mirrored his. We're both scared shitless, he yelled, voice breaking. But I choose you. Every time, in the heat, we collided furious kisses, hands clawing for connection amid the wreckage. It was raw, desperate sex on the living room floor, bodies slick with sweat and tears, a reclaiming born of pain. Afterward, spent and shivering, he whispered apologies into my hair. I called Emily, told her it's over for good. And Dad, I'll email him tonight. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. We dressed in silence, the apartment a battlefield of overturned lamps and unspoken fears. As I brewed coffee, our ritual, unbroken, he hit send on the email. Words I'd helped craft. Dad, I'm bi. In love with my roommate. This is who I am. Love me or don't, but it's the truth. The reply came swift. Kurt will discuss at Christmas. With a professional. No rage, just that cold corporate dismissal. Matt's shoulders slumped, but he met my eyes with steel. It's a start. We spent the holiday in the city, volunteering at the shelter, serving turkey to queer youth with nowhere else to go. Laughter echoed through the hall, stories shared like lifelines. One kid, barely 18, hugged Matt tight. Thanks for being real, man. In that moment, humanism bloomed, love not as conquest, but quiet revolution. Winter thawed into spring, our bond scarred but stronger. Matthew quit finance, pivoting to nonprofit work at the center, using his privilege for good. I sold my first script, a tale of two guys navigating betrayal in the big city, to an indie producer. We moved to a brighter place in Bushwick. Fire escape overlooking a community garden where we planted tomatoes, roots digging deep. Not every ending ties neat bows. My parents' door stayed cracked. Polite emails but no visits. His family simmered in awkward silences. Emily a ghost they pretended never haunted. But we built our own. Lazy brunches at Veselka, pride parades where we marched hand in hand, nights where I love you was gospel. One evening, as fireflies danced in the garden below, Matthew pulled me onto the escape. Remember that first night? He murmured, lips brushing my ear. Shower steam and shattered glass? I smiled, tracing his jaw. Best plot twist ever. In America's mosaic of heartbreaks and hopes, we were just two threads woven imperfect, but enduring. Love, after all, isn't the absence of storms, but dancing in the rain. The garden wasn't always fireflies and tomatoes. Spring brought blooms, sure, but also thorns that pricked at old wounds. We'd been in the new place 3 months, boxes half unpacked like metaphors for our lives, when the first real test hit. It started innocuous. A wedding invite from Matt's college buddy, Chad, frat boy extraordinaire, now tying the knot in the Hamptons with a real estate heiress. +1. The embossed card read, gold script mocking our secrecy. Matt stared at it over breakfast, cereal spoon hovering mid-air. We going? I shrugged, forcing nonchalance while my gut twisted. Your call. But if it's me as roomie, pass. He set the spoon down, reaching across the Formica table for my hand. No hiding. You're my partner. Chad knows. Hell, I told him after the email fiasco. Partner. The word still sent shivers, equal parts thrill and terror. We'd tiptoed public affection. Pinky hooks on subway platforms, quick pecks in dimly lit bars. But a wedding, straight-laced, waspy affair with champagne toasts and first dances, that was exposure therapy on steroids. Fine, I said, squeezing his fingers. But if your aunt pinches my cheek and asks when I'm settling down with a nice girl, I'm out. He laughed, that deep rumble that melted defenses. Deal. And Joe? Thanks for this. The drive out was pure Americana. I-95 snaking through Jersey sprawl, radio blasting Bruce Springsteen anthems about blue-collar dreams. Matt drove our beat-up Honda, windows down, his free hand on my thigh, a casual claim that felt revolutionary. We talked dreams, him eyeing an MBA in social impact investing, me pitching my script to agents who actually returned calls. We're building something, he said, glancing over with eyes like summer skies. Real as this road. The Hamptons sprawl hit like a glossy magazine spread. Manicured lawns, ocean views that screamed old money. Chad's family estate was a sprawling colonial, white columns guarding secrets as stiff as starched collars. Guests milled in seersucker and pearls, air thick with perfume and passive-aggressive small talk. Matt's hand found my lower back as we entered, a silent "I've got you." Chad clapped Matt on the shoulder, beer in hand, eyes flicking to me with that bro-code curiosity. Joseph, right? Matt's told me. Stuff. A wink, awkward but genuine. Relief washed over me like cool waves. The ceremony was Pinterest perfect. Vows exchanged under a floral arch, laughter rippling as the bride teared up. I stood beside Matt, our pinkies linked behind our programs, hearts sinking to the officiant's words on eternal love. But eternity's a luxury when your roots are tangled in denial. Cocktail hour brought the vultures. Matt's Aunt Lydia, a Botoxed socialite with a martini glass perpetually tilted, cornered us by the oyster bar. Matthew, darling, and who's this handsome devil? Her gaze raked me, praising like I was vintage wine. Joseph, Matt said, arm slipping around my waist. My boyfriend, the word hung, bold as a billboard. Lydia's smile froze, martini sloshing. Boy. Friend? Oh, honey, that's modern. A titter. Then pivot. Well, enjoy the canapes. She vanished into the crowd, leaving Frost in her wake. Matt tensed, but I pulled him toward the dance floor. Screw her. Dance with me, under string lights. As a cover band crooned Wonderwall, we swayed, his chin on my shoulder, my hands in his back pockets. Whispers followed, but so did nods from Chad's queer cousin, who shot us a thumbs up. For a moment, it was us against the world, romantic as a indie flick fade-out. Then betrayal's echo resurfaced. Emily appeared like a specter, arm in arm with a groomsman, her dress a siren red that turned heads. She spotted us, smile sharpening to a blade. Matthew, Joseph. Cozy. Matt stiffened, but nodded coolly. M. Congrats on. Whatever. She laughed. Too bright. Oh, just here for the open bar. Heard about your little announcement. Brave. The word dripped condescension, eyes darting to me like I was a footnote. But family, right? They always pull you back. I bit my tongue, but Matt didn't. Family evolves. Or it should. Excuse us. He steered me away, jaw set, but I caught her smirk, vindication in victory lap form. The reception dragged, toasts slurring into nostalgia trips that excluded us. By midnight, we'd retreated to a quiet corner of the lawn, ocean crashing like applause. Matt cracked open a pilfered flask, passing it over. Sorry. She's poison. Not your fault, I said, though doubt gnawed. Emily's presence was a reminder. His world hadn't fully let go. We kissed there, salt air mingling with whiskey, bodies pressing urgent against the gazebo lattice. It was reclamation, fierce and tender, hands mapping familiar territories under the stars. Back in the city Sunday night, the high crashed. Matt's phone buzzed incessantly. Aunt Lydia's passive-aggressive texts. We love you, but traditions matter. Talk soon. Then Dad's email. Proud of your honesty, son. But Chicago jobs still open. Fresh start? He hurled the phone across the room, echoing that pre-Thanksgiving shatter. They think it's a phase. That you'll fix me. I pulled him down beside me on the couch, our sanctuary of thrift store cushions. Or we fix us. Together, that night, we dove deep, emotions raw as peeled onions. He cried for the boy who'd suppressed crushes on teammates, I for parents who'd chosen doctrine over son. I betrayed you once, he whispered, by even considering their script. Forgiven, I said, meaning it. But no more half measures. We made promises, therapy doubles, pride flags in the window, a joint bank account for our future. Romance rekindled in small fires, picnics in Prospect Park, where he'd read my script drafts aloud with theatrical flair, laughing at the queer twists I'd woven in. Summer scorched in, humidity turning our apartment into a sauna. Work ramped. Matt's nonprofit gig had him schmoozing donors at galas, me juggling barista shifts with late-night writing sessions. One sweltering July evening, he came home late, tie askew, eyes distant. Rough night, I asked, fanning myself with a script page. He collapsed onto the bed, loosening his collar. Dinner with Dad. In town for business. He cornered me about Emily. Said she's concerned, thinks I'm spiraling, my blood iced. And I told him to back off. That you're it for me. Pause. Heavy. But he offered the Chicago transfer again. Better pay. Corner office. Said it's for stability. Stability. The American dream's holy grail, dangled like bait. I swallowed hurt, forcing calm. What did you say? Declined. But Joe. It's tempting. Not for them, for us. More money means we could travel. Buy a place upstate. Conflict brewed. Subtle as storm clouds. I wanted roots here. In the city's pulse where we'd bloomed. He craved security. The kind his upbringing equated with success. It's not betrayal, he insisted, pulling me close. It's building. Our lovemaking that night was slow, exploratory, fingers interlacing, breaths sinking like a duet. But seeds of doubt sprouted, watered by late-night what-ifs. August brought the climax, unbidden and brutal. My script sale fell through. Producer ghosted after market research, flagged it as too niche for mainstream. Crushed, I drowned sorrows at a dive bar in the East Village, shots blurring edges. Home late, I found Matt on the phone, voice low. Yeah, I appreciate the concern. No, he's great. But Dad's right, stability matters. I burst in, keys clattering. Hanging with the ex again? He hung up, startled. She called. About the job, said Chicago's booming for queer couples, inclusive firms. Liar, fury boiled over. You're cracking, Matt. One push from Daddy, and you're phoning the girl who called me a phase. It's not that. He stood, hands out. I'm scared. Okay, for you, for us. Your script tanked, my job stagnant. What if we crash and burn here? The fight erupted. Words as weapons. My accusations of cowardice. his of clinging to bohemian bullshit over pragmatism. You betrayed me the first time by doubting, I shouted. Now you're doing it again. He grabbed my arms. Ice fierce. I love you enough to fight for better. Why can't you see that? We collapsed into each other, rage flipping to passion, teeth and nails, a tempest of need. Bruised lips, marked skin, love's violent poetry. Dawn found us wrecked. Apologies whispered over cold coffee. I called HR, he said finally. Staying put. And Emily? Blocked for good. Relief flooded, but scars lingered. We recommitted, couples counseling, where a no-nonsense therapist unpacked our traumas, his privilege guilt, my abandonment fears. Human moments emerged. Game nights with center kids, where Matt's dad jokes landed soft. Open mics where I read queer poetry, his cheers loudest. By Labor Day, we'd healed enough for a road trip, upstate to the Catskills, cabin rented on a whim. Hiking trails dappled in sunlight, we shed city skins. One evening, by a campfire crackling like confessions, he knelt, not proposal, but pledge. No more running. You're my mirror, Joe, reflecting the man I want to be. Tears stung as I pulled him up, kissing away doubts. Romance, in its American grit, was this two souls, bent but unbroken, forging paths through wilderness. Fall foliage painted the Catskills in fiery hues, a backdrop for renewal we desperately needed. The cabin was rustic charm, log walls, stone fireplace, a loft bed where we'd make love to the hoot of owls, bodies entwined like vines claiming trellises. No cell service meant no intrusions, no dad's emails, no Emily's shadows, just us and the whisper of leaves. We hiked daily, boots crunching autumn crunch, hands clasped over roots that mirrored our own, twisted, resilient. At Overlook Mountain, summit winds whipping, Matt spun me around, laughing. Look at this view, we're kings. I grinned, pulling him down for a kiss salty with sweat. Nah. Just us. Evenings, we'd cook over the fire. S'mores spiked with whiskey, stories spun like smoke. He shared buried memories, a high school crush on his best friend, suppressed until it poisoned their bond. I confessed my first love, a theater kid in Pittsburgh who ghosted after my coming out, leaving scars that bled into trust issues. You make me brave, I told him, marshmallow goo on my chin. His eyes softened, fingers tracing my lips. And you make me whole. It was humanistic poetry. Two men, products of fractured Americas, one blue-collar grit, one silver spoon gloss, finding grace in vulnerability. We returned to Brooklyn renewed, the city's chaos a welcome roar. But conflict simmers. It doesn't vanish. November chilled the air, Thanksgiving looming like a specter. This year, we decided face families head-on. My parents, post my cautious email, Mom, Dad, I'm gay. Happy. Bring pie. Responded with tepid acceptance. We love you. Always. Matt's clan? Radio silence since the wedding fallout. Broken only by a stiff card, holidays at home. Bring Joseph if you'd like. Like we're optional sides, Matt grumbled. Stuffing ballots for a local queer rights initiative, our shared activism. A bomb. I bumped his shoulder. We'll crash their Norman Rockwell with glitter. The drive to Pittsburgh was tense. I ate a ribbon of regret. Mom's hugs were stiff. Dad's handshake firmer than needed. I's avoiding mine. Dinner was pot roast and politeness. Small talk about weather, my writing hobby, Matt's admirable career shift. Under the table, our knees touched a lifeline. Then Dad cleared his throat, napkin folding precise. Joseph, we've been praying. About choices. The church has resources. Stop. My voice cut sharp. Matt's hand found mine atop the linen. Squeeze iron strong. I'm not broken. And Matt's not a phase. We're in love. End of sermon. Silence thick as gravy. Mom teared up, whispering, "Just want you happy, sweetie." Dad nodded curtly, but later, as we loaded the car with leftovers, he clapped Matt's shoulder. "Take care of him. He's our boy." It wasn't absolution, but a door ajar, human progress, inch by inch. Matt's family gathering was a different beast. Connecticut estate aglow with lights, air crisp with privilege. His sister, Becca, hugged us fierce. "About time you brought a hot one," but the parental chill permeated like drafty halls. Dinner. Turkey carved with surgical precision. Conversations skirting edges. Dad pulled Matt aside post-meal, study door clicking shut. I paced the foyer, Becca's sympathetic wine in hand. Minutes stretched, voices rose. Matt's firm, Dad's measured thunder. "You throw away legacy for this?" Dad's words leaked through oak. "Legacy's bullshit if it's a cage," Matt shot back. "I love him. Deal with it." The door flew open, Matt storming out, face flushed. "We're leaving." In the car, snow flurrying, he punched the dash. "He called you a distraction. Said Chicago's waiting if I reconsider." Rage boiled, but I channeled it soft. "Then we make our own legacy." That night, in a roadside motel, neon buzzing vacancy, we exorcised demons. Slow undress by lava lamp glow, kisses like confessions, bodies a sanctuary. "You're my forever," he gasped, arching under me. Dawn's light found us peaceful, tangled and true. Winter gripped New York, holidays fading into January gray. My script, revived by a queer film fest submission, shortlist buzz that lit fires under my ass. Matt's nonprofit scored a grant, his pitches landing donors who saw the man, not the pedigree. We celebrated with dim sum in Chinatown, toasting with baijiu that burned sweet. But betrayal's ghost lingered, manifesting in subtler forms. February, a work trip for Matt, DC conference on impact investing. 3 days, he promised, kissing me goodbye at Penn Station. Call every night, nights 1 and 2. Flirty voicemails, miss your laugh. Night 3, radio silence. Worry nod. By morning, a text, phone died. All good. Home soon. He arrived disheveled, ice shadowed. Rough panels. Yeah. Evasive. We made love. Familiar, but his mind wandered. Touches mechanical. Truth surfaced over coffee. Steam curling like lies. Ran into Emily, he admitted. At the hotel bar. Old colleagues networking. My mug clattered. Networking? She cornered me. Said Dad's pulling strings for Chicago. For your future. Flirted. Yeah. I shut it down. But the air crackled. I hesitated. For a second. Wondered if stability meant starting over. Without the baggage. Betrayal. Not inaction. But thought a knife twist. You considered leaving? Again? No. Desperate. He grabbed my hands. It was fear talking. Joseph's the name on my heart. Not a exit sign. We shattered then, not glass, but illusions. I stormed out, wandering snow-dusted streets, Brooklyn Bridge a distant loom. Hours later, home to find him on the fire escape, flask in hand, tears freezing on cheeks. "Forgive me," he begged as I joined him. "I'm flawed, Joe. But my love's not." I sat, cold seeping through jeans. "Prove it." Every day, spring equinox brought thaw. We dove into therapy deeper, unpacking privilege's pitfalls, his enabling escape fantasies, mine fueling paranoia. Dates turned intentional. Poetry slams where he'd whisper lines in my ear, museum strolls hand in hand, defying stares. Climax brewed in May, my script's fest screening. A sweaty basement theater in Chelsea, queer crowd electric. As credits rolled, our story on screen, two lovers navigating betrayal's brink. Applause thundered. Matt hooped loudest, pulling me into a kiss amid cheers. Post-party, buzzed on cheap wine, we tumbled home. "You're a star," he murmured, hands reverent on my skin. But dawn brought the storm's eye. Dad's unannounced visit, suit crisp as judgment. He sat at our kitchen table, coffee untouched. "Matthew's wasted here. Chicago's offer stands, double salary. Bring Joseph, city's got." Scenes. Matt's face hardened. "No." Dad's gaze flicked to me, praising. "Think practical, son. Love's fine, but life's long." I stood, voice steady. "Life's what we build, not buy. We're staying." He left with a nod, door clicking final. Matt sagged against me. That was it, the line in the sand. We crossed it together, making love fierce as declaration, bodies a battlefield one. Summer hummed, our rhythm solidified. Activism amplified. Pride floats where we'd march. Signs bold. Love wins. No compromises. Human threads strengthened, mentoring at the center, where kids saw us as proof. Survival's possible. One August Eve. Rooftop party with friends. Queer chorus of laughter. Matt pulled me aside. Skyline twinkling. "Marry me? Not today, but someday. When we're ready." Tears pricked. I nodded, kissing him under stars. Romance, in its raw American vein, was this. Promises etched in city lights, enduring. The proposal hung like a constellation, guiding us through summer's swelter. Not rings yet, too soon, too loaded, but the intent anchored, a North Star amid urban drift. We planned small, a joint tattoo appointment, simple coordinates of our first kiss etched on wrists. Mine on the left, his on the right, linked forever, even apart. Brooklyn pulsed with life. Street fairs hawking rainbow flags, bodegas blasting Bad Bunny. My script's fest wind snowballed. A manager's card slipped into my DMs. Meetings in glass towers where execs nodded at relatable queer narratives. Matt's grant bloomed into program expansions. His days filled with grant writes and kid workshops. Evenings, we'd collapse together, take-out containers as candle holders, debriefing victories. "You're glowing," he said one night, post-meeting high, his fingers combing my hair as I ranted about pitch tweaks. "So are you." Truth, his confidence radiated. The once hesitant finance bro now a force in social good. But undercurrents stirred, subtle shifts, like his lingering glances at job boards, or my nightmares of Emily's laugh. Fall crept in, leaves turning trader gold. Halloween brought whimsy. We dressed as Brokeback Mountain, me as Ennis, him as Jack, ironic armor at a warehouse party in Bushwick. Leather chaps chafed, but his cowboy hat tilt and drawled "Darlin'" had me weak-kneed. Amid thumping bass and glitter-dusted dancers, we grinded slow, bodies sinking to a remix of Wonderwall. A stranger catcalled, slurred fags. But Matt spun, middle finger high, crowd cheering our defiance. "That's my man," he yelled, pulling me into a dip that ended in laughter and lust. Back home, costumes shed in a trail to the bedroom. We role-played escape, whispers of "tell me about the ranch," thrusts like frontier claims. Afterglow, he traced my tattoo. No mountains between us. November tested that. My parents visited, first time in the city. Mom clutching a quilt she'd sewn, stars in rainbow threads. Dad's handshake warmed, eyes crinkling at Matt's dad jokes over dim sum. "Proud of you, son," he murmured as they left, hug lingering. Progress, fragile as tissue. Matt's turn. Christmas invite. Neutral ground, a ski lodge in Vermont. Family truce. "Come," he urged. "Show 'em we're solid." I hesitated, memories of Connecticut chill, but nodded. "Team us." The lodge was postcard perfect. Roaring fires, pine-scented air, slopes glittering under snow. Becca squealed welcome, snowballs flying. Even Aunt Lydia thawed, offering spike cider with a "you two look happy." Dinners were tentative bridges. Dad discussing nonprofit impacts, skirting personal minds. New Year's Eve, bonfire crackling. Matt pulled me aside. "This is working." Firelight danced on his face. Vulnerable. But midnight countdown brought the fracture. His phone buzzed. Emily's name flashing. "Happy New York. Miss our talks." "Chicago." He silenced it quick. But I saw. Again. "Spam." He lied, but eyes betrayed. Back in the city, January's bite matched my mood. Silence festered. Arguments simmered low. "Why's she still in your contacts?" I demanded one subway rattling commute. "Old habit. Deleted now. But trust, once cracked, leaks." Climax brewed in February. Valentine's shadow. I'd planned romance. Rooftop picnic, city lights as candles, script reading of a love scene I'd penned for us. But Matt canceled, work emergency. Arriving late, flustered, cologne faint but foreign. "Dinner with donors," he explained, but guilt shadowed his grin. I pressed. He deflected. Nights blurred into suspicion. Late texts, vague alibis. One March dawn, I woke to his phone. Unlocked. Emily's thread. "Lunch? For old times." No strings. Betrayal. Full bloom. Not physical yet, but emotional infidelity. Seeking solace in the past's arms. "How long?" I whispered, screen glowing accusatory. He woke, paling. "Joe, it's nothing." Advice on Dad's pressure. I swear. Lies. Heart splintering. I packed a bag, couch at a friend's. Space to breathe. Week of hell. Voicemails pleading. Texts poetic in pain. I fucked up. You're my everything. I ghosted. Diving into work. Script revisions frantic. Bar shifts numb. Friends rallied. Drag brunch pep talks. Dump the drama, but love's stubborn. Week 2. He showed at the theater, my solo reading of a heartbreak monologue. Sat front row. Eyes red-rimmed. Plotting thunderous. Backstage. He knelt. Not pride but penance. I met her once. Coffee. To end it clean, told her I'm marrying you someday. But I should have told you first. Betrayed your trust for. Closure I didn't need. Tears hot. I hauled him up. Why? Fear. Of losing the old me, the safety net. But you're my net, Joe. All I need. We rebuilt slow. No contact lists. Transparency packs, phone shares, date check-ins. Counseling intensified. Therapist praising our grit. Human growth isn't linear, she said. It's messy, like America itself. Spring unfurled forgiving. Cherry blossoms in the botanic garden, where we picnicked. Vows renewed. No more secrets, he swore. Cherry stem nodded between fingers. Romance reignited. Weekend in the Hamptons. Ironic reclaim. Beach walks hand in hand. Waves washing doubts. Lovemaking salty and slow. Sunset gilding skin. Eternal, he breathed. Proposal pendant glinting. A silver key. Symbol of unlocked hearts. Summer solstice. Pride Month climax. We led a center float, kids waving banners. Us at helm in matching tees. Love's legacy. Cheers drowned old echoes. Matt's dad even texted. Saw the news. Proud. Post-parade. After-party haze. We slipped away to the pier. Brooklyn Bridge arched guardian. Marry me, he said again. This time with a ring simple band. Engraved shattered but whole. Yes, I choked. Salt tears mixing with harbor mist. Humanism's quiet victory. Two men, scarred by betrayal's blade, choosing each other daily. In America's vast tapestry, our thread gleamed romantic, resilient, real. The ring weighed light on my finger, promise heavier than gold. Wedding plans weren't fireworks, more like steady embers. Civil ceremony in City Hall, backyard reception with center kids as ring bearers. No fuss, Matt insisted. Just us and the people who've seen our mess. But joy's a magnet for tests. Late summer, his nonprofit hit turbulence. Grant audits uncovering irregularities. A donor's slush fund. Whispers of embezzlement. Matt was cleared, but suspicion clung like humidity. Board meetings stretched late. Dad's voice in his ear. Told you, stability in finance, not charity. Stress etched lines on his face. Kisses turning obligatory. One September Eve, post-audit grilling. He came home hollow-eyed. They think I'm naive. For believing in good. I pulled him to the couch, rubbing temples. You're not. Fight it. He did, testifying transparent. Rallying allies. But doubt crept. What if Dad's right? What if I'm dragging you down? Don't. I warned. But seeds took root. October's chill mirrored mood. My script greenlit. Indie budget. Queer director thrilled. Table reads buzzed. Offers trickled for cameos. Success should have buoyed us. But Matt withdrew. Scrolling Chicago listings, just in case. Betrayal specter reared. A late-night call I overheard, him venting to Becca. Joe's soaring. I'm sinking. Maybe space. I confronted at dawn. Coffee bitter. Space? After the ring. God. No. Panic. Just. Fear. Of failing you. Words failed, we circled. Conflict coiling. Climax snapped November 1st, election night irony. As city voted progressive. Our world fractured. Audit bombshell. Donor implicated. But Matt scapegoated in leaks to press. Headline. Nonprofit heir in scandal? Reporters swarmed our stoop. Calls flooded. He barricaded inside. Whiskey bottle half empty. It's over. Dad's pulling support. says clean break in Chicago. I blocked the door, facing flashes. No. We face it. Fight erupted, his defeatism clashing my fire. You don't get it. My name's poison now, and mine's tied to yours, I yelled. Betray that, and you betray us. He stormed out, fire escape rattling. Hours ticked, worry gnawed. By midnight, police knock. Matt at a bar, blackout drunk, brawl with a heckler. Mugshot viral, scandal amplified. Bail hearing dawn. I stood beside him, hand in his cuffed ones. Not guilty, judge ruled, self-defense but damage etched. Dad arrived. Suit armor. Come home. We'll fix this. Matt looked at me, eyes pleading. Joe? Choose, I said, voice steel. Me, he whispered. Always. Rebuild was grueling. PR spins, therapy marathons, sobriety packed. Center rallied, fundraisers packed. Kids' letters, you're our hero. Humanism surged. Strangers donating. Queer media profiling our unbreakable bond. December healed slow. Wedding day, crisp, snow-dusted. City Hall oak-paneled. Becca officiating with teary vows. In chaos, you chose love. Rings exchanged. Simple bands kissing. Reception. Brownstone backyard. Strung lights twinkling. Center youth danced awkward waltzes. My parents, tentative, shared cake with his. Dad's toast to new legacies. Clumsy, but earnest. Honeymoon. Upstate cabin redux. Fireplaces and forgiveness. We hiked, laughed, loved, bodies maps rewritten, scars badges. Years blurred. My film premiered Sundance. Standing ovation for our story veiled as fiction. Matt's org reformed stronger. Him CEO unapologetic. Families softened. Thanksgivings blended. Quilts and arguments yielding to grace. One anniversary. Fire escape perch. City humming below. From steam to this, he mused. Ring glinting. Shattered mirrors reflect truest, I replied, kissing him. In America's heart, dramatic, emotional, romantic we endured. Not perfect, but profoundly human. Love's quiet roar, echoing eternal.